Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, Earthlings. We meet again so soon. I've got my tea and I've just woken up, and I believe it is Meghan's birthday, or was, and I see photographs of her and Harry attending a restaurant, I think it's in Montecito, called Delusion. I don't know where to begin. I'm going to put a link to the Daily Mail because not so much for the words in the article of the Daily Mail as the photographs. So before I start on this one, I don't really know where to start. I want to say that my thing is PR, and Meghan's PR has certainly changed. Over the years, she's had various different PR people, and whoever is doing her PR at the moment, I think they're probably doing the best job out of everybody so far. Because there is a commenter here, I think called Momi or Mimo, who's a big Meghan fan, loves Meghan. A very nice person, actually. Very, very nice person. We disagree on a lot of things, and that person's quite strong sometimes, but certainly not a sugar. What I would classify as a true Meghan fan, supporter. And they commented yesterday on the video to say that my hatred for her shone through. No, I don't hate Meghan, but I do hate what they did by having Christopher Bouzy on their Netflix docuseries. What do you make of that? Christopher Bouzy is he has undeniably said and done horrible things on Twitter, and then they have him on their Netflix docuseries. So I would say that to genuine Meghan supporters. Go and look into Christopher Bouzy, look into his history, have a look at some of the vile viciousness that goes on, and the people he associates with. Some like outrageous trolls. He actually likes their tweets. Now let's talk about Meghan's birthday. Happy birthday, Meghan, for a start, in case she watches it, which I'm sure she doesn't. Right, I'm not putting any pictures up of what she was wearing, but I will describe it as a knitted tube to the floor, with thick bands of black and white. And I'll let you decide for yourselves what you make of that outfit. Personally, I don't like it. What I will say about her in the photographs that I do like, and I don't know if they've been airbrushed or if that is her natural skin, but because it's strapless, her shoulders and her arms, of course, are on display. She's not wearing any necklace, and I will say that her skin tone on her shoulders is lovely. It looks lovely, unless it's been airbrushed. It does look lovely, and that's really where my like of the outfit stops, because and I'm not laughing at her. I'm going to tell you a bit of a story. I tell you what it reminded me of, and I'd forgotten all about this. Years ago, when I was living at 86 High Street, the haunted mansion in Lewes, I was working at a factory. And we have a very famous soap opera in the UK called EastEnders. And at the time, there was a main character on it called Cathy Beale. And Cathy Beale bought a knitting machine. It's sort of like a great big sort of metal piano, and you run a thing. And you connect wool, and basically bit by bit, a knitted object comes from it. Well, of course, it's a soap opera, and I was very young. I was 17 or 18. And I thought, oh, that's a good idea. I could pack my job in at the factory and I could buy a knitting machine and I'll have a knitting business. I think the reason I've only just remembered it is because it was such a terrible idea. And I don't know why all my family and friends supported me. In fact, one of my sisters still wears one of the jumpers I made, bless her, years ago. I think she might have more than one. But they did it to support me, and really what they should have done is said, stop it, Fiona. You have no talent at this, because I could never work out how to properly do a pattern. So I would do stripes, horizontal stripes, because that was easy. I'd do like in black, and then change the colour of the wool and go and then go back to black, because that was nice and easy. And that's what Meghan's dress reminds me of. It looks like something I made. Apparently it's £180, $180, so I mean, I never know where they find out, when even Catherine, any of them, where they find out who made the dress, where they got the earrings from. They must have PR people who give them a list, because I don't believe a lot of journalists will look at a dress and go, ah, yeah, I know exactly how that came from Zara, or that's last season, or that was 2017 season. I mean, are there really, really professionals out there who know? So I think they must provide information through their PR of exactly how much something cost and where they got it from. And she was downplaying, you know, the budget, because the PR people have obviously said to her, you've been criticised in the past for wearing far too expensive. Well, she's gone right the other way. And if she bought that dress off me, I can tell you now, she'd have got it for 20 quid, because that's what I was selling things like that for. But I didn't do them to the ground like that. I mean, I might have done a boob tube or a mini dress. And when I first saw the pictures, I thought, oh, it'll be a mini dress. I mean, I saw the top and I thought, no, 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 no. And then when I saw the next picture, it's to the ground. And she's a very attractive lady. I don't understand. I don't understand why she chooses things like that. But yeah, my knitting business. I used to go to car boot sales, and I did the Kemp Town Fair once, and I very quickly worked out the cost of the stall or the car pitch and what I can sell these jumpers for far outweighs the cost of the cone of wool that I had to buy. Because I was buying it retail from a shop. Because I was a kid, I didn't know any better. I don't know what even happened to that knitting machine. But really what my family should have said is, Fiona, stop it, this is not your forte. But I suppose they didn't know what to say. And maybe that's how people around Meghan feel. But I mean, I worked it out for myself. I thought, I'm not making money at this, and I looked at what I was making and I thought, why would anybody buy this crap, Fiona? It's terrible. All you can do is like bumblebee stripes. I did try doing patterns, but they had big loops on the back. I could never figure out how to do it, like other people. Anyway, so there they are. They've gone out, her and Harry. Harry looks as if he's agreed to go for a photo shoot. They have never looked more detached from each other. She's up front. She does have that sort of Norma Desmond glow on her. If you haven't seen it, go see the Duchess of Narsussex. In fact, I'll put a link in the description. Not to be mean, but it's a very, very famous movie, Sunset Boulevard, and Norma Desmond is at the end scene. I can't remember which actress plays her, someone very, very famous. Sorry, to my shame, I don't know. But she's genius at playing the part of someone who would have been a Hollywood starlet, A-lister, who aged basically, and then wanted to come back but couldn't. And it's all about delusion, and it's a really good film. Well, I'm sure you don't need me to tell you that. She really has that sort of Norma Desmond, not a rictus grin. She actually looks a little worried in the eyes. The eyes look worried to me, and the grin is more, it's more like, shit, is this going to work? Is this working? And there's a peculiar picture of her like pointing, a bit like if you were in a photo shoot, which I've never been in, but I imagine if I was in a photo shoot and they said, point, oh, okay. Or look sad. You know, it's that kind of weird pointing, hammy, at what, who. There's a guy there with them I've never heard of before. I've no idea who he is. But Harry's really in the back. He doesn't even want to be there. And there's a shot of when, I presume it's Meghan has got in the car, this other guy who I don't know who he is sort of helping her into the car, like she's an invalid or something. But she's not. You know, like she's so precious. She must be held on velvet to get in the car. And Harry's sort of looking at her. Imagine the car doors here and the body of the car's there. He's kind of looking down at her through the gap between the door and the car. And my very first thought was he was smiling, and it looked like he was saying, oh, I hope I never see you again. Happy now? I'm sure he wasn't saying that, but that's the caption that came across to me as soon as I saw that, and I thought, whoa. The dress, just the dress. And to make it even worse, I don't know who booked the restaurant, but it's called Treloon, and it's got a picture of 3 moons. 3 moons. Well, loon, to me, I know, yeah, here, in Spain, La Luna is the moon, and loon is the word for moon, but it's also associated with being a loony. And so I wonder who booked the restaurant. Some pissed off intern who doesn't like her. Her PR company, hoping there was going to be an A-lister there who might come over and say happy birthday to her. Harry, did he book it? Private joke? Or did she herself book it? But I've never more seen how Meghan is trapped. She appears to be trapped in her own mind. She just simply does not see things the way that we are. That's how I mean, I don't know what she's like in real life. I can't comment. But the image of that PR exercise, that's how it comes across to me. Here is a woman who is completely deluded, like Norma Desmond, and has absolutely no idea. And I'm sure it's not just me that can see through this PR thing. I mean, every time they do pap shots, she just never looks natural. The only way they would get her natural is to do it literally without her knowing a thing about it. Just going to the supermarket, if she had a private detective follow her and take some pictures, but I guess she'd sue. I suppose she'd sue, but I mean, go and have a look and tell me what you think of this knitted boob tube thing. It's very unflattering, especially towards the bottom at certain... You know, when you walk in a... Well, Catherine can do it. I've seen Catherine wear very long to the floor, very tight dresses, but I don't think they've ever been knitted, but she could probably carry it off. But I couldn't. I mean, that was another thing with my knitted dresses, and I did do dresses. I discovered, because I was so rubbish at it, and I think the tightness of the knit needed to be tighter. I found that after only wearing one of the dresses twice, after I'd sat down for about half an hour, when I stood up, I had a big bum dent and a knee dent to the front, and it would never go back. And I thought, why is it only my knitted dresses that do that? And I'm not saying that's the case with Meghan, but you can see as she walks, there's a shot of her walking, and it's... no. Anyway, guys, so, I mean, they are trying with the PR. And the other thing is that they make a big deal. You know, they've been missing for months. Suddenly they come out. If they were missing for months, then why weren't they getting on with some really great project? You can do a lot in the months and then suddenly come out. Like Prince William, I saw him on he was on a YouTuber's channel the other day, and he was promoting winners of the Earth shot, and I was actually fascinated in the winners, the greenhouses that can produce, I think it's something like 90% more yield. It's incredible for smaller farmers. The packaging for the burgers covered in seaweed plastic. I mean, it's mind-blowing. It really does look like Queen Victoria and Prince Albert coming up with ideas, coming up with solutions to help everybody. And I was very, very impressed with the things, the winners, and the things that came up. It's not actually a YouTube channel I'm familiar with, although they've got something like 7 million subscribers, and there's William, and he's serving burgers up. I mean, he does things behind the scenes. It must take an awful lot of organisation, Earthshot. But when I look at Meghan and Harry, it's like a one-trick pony. They come out with these things, oh, let's be benevolent to a little charity, and we'll do a video for PR, and they'll put it on their website. Or it's, let's go and do a photo shoot here. Oh, let's buy an award and go there. There's no substance. There's nothing behind it. I begin to think they're not interested in anybody else but themselves, which is very, very sad. But I'm telling you that I ever so more believe they're not together. Having seen Harry. Harry actually looks like he's gone to visit an aunt, take an aunt out, you know, crazy aunt. Oh yeah, go take her out for her birthday. Bless her. That's how it looks. Anyway, as always, I can't wait to hear what you all think of the knitted dress. And no, I'm never going to open another knitting business as long as I live. It's not my thing. Thank you very much for listening.